The spiritual day rests firmly on three pillars. The times of the stay on the mountaintop, in the higher world, in the home of your soul, in the ashram of your teacher, in the morning, at noon, and in the evening. This anchoring on the spiritual level provides a firm basis for your material life. From this safe harbor, the next refuge already in sight, you can venture to sail for a short, manageable distance on the raging sea of the earthly life. Nothing can confuse the traveler who already has caught sight of his home. In order to cope with the adversities of everyday life, Solomon gave a wise advice. Always keep in mind and this too will pass. This sage counsel you can best follow if you remember the run through hostile terrain only takes a few hours. Then you can return to your paradise. About a certain Japanese tea master who was also a samurai, it is said, throughout the day he is fighting on the battlefield. After that, he devotes himself to the tea ceremony. Nevertheless, he does not practice the tea ceremony between the fights, but he fights between the tea ceremonies. So he takes at any moment the path of a tea master. According to this model, we too have to change our way of thinking. The old attitude was, we are living and working in the world, and try to withdraw from time to time for refuge to a lonely, holy place. The new attitude is, we are living on the spiritual plane, in the ashram of our teacher. We visit only briefly and temporarily the physical sphere and return as soon as possible back to our home. In fact, not only upon the death of the body, but already now, on each single day. So, without leaving the earth, we are leading a supernatural existence and walking at any moment the spiritual path of the soul. How does the day of a spiritual disciple look like? It begins at 5 o'clock in the morning. You visit, obviously in spirit, your teacher in his ashram. There, 3 hours of physical exercises outdoors. Meditation, prayer, worship, studying of the Holy Scriptures, and training are on the curriculum. Especially in the morning, the susceptibility for higher energies, for the receipt of comfort, strength, knowledge, teaching, and joy is particularly great. The decisive test is whether you manage to summon the discipline to get up early and to start the day in the higher world. The teacher offers you the benefit of his presence and his teachings. You will not want to keep him waiting. The advantage of early rising is immeasurable. The proverb rightly says, "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." It costs some effort and willpower to leave the world of dreams and to return to the level of action and of the earth's load. The spirit needs some time to overcome the sadness that afflicts him after returning to the stifling physical body. But whoever stays in bed too long steals the time that is due to the hierarchy. It is imperative that you, before the earthly day starts, first restore the consciousness of your immortality, your discipleship, and your higher mission. That you kindle again the inner fire of enthusiasm. That you get in touch with your superiors, and that you fill yourself with joy at the coming day and its challenges. It is crucial for your mental balance that you start the day in the sanctuary in the mountains and not in the chaos of the valleys. Each morning, man is filled with fear for the future instead of joy. At the beginning of the day, the disciple appears before his teacher and reports for training and serving the common good. He takes instructions and orders for the day. The teacher is pleased with everyone who rallies around the flag and sad about him who became lax or even deserted. In these hours, at the feet of the teacher, you lay the foundation for the transfiguration of your earthly day. You sharpen your will and gather the energy that will be required to defy the world and to take the higher path for another day. You assimilate the spirit of the ashram, on which you will have to draw for the next hours. You put on your spiritual armor, which will protect and carry you in the world. In order to bear the entire burden of the awesome responsibility and ever-growing difficulties, I affirm myself every day in joy and readiness to face the most difficult. Great tempering of spirit and heart is necessary, for each day brings us all sorts of trials. You should not go into the world before having rediscovered the joy at your path and the enthusiasm for your confirmed task. If the course is not set correctly in the morning, you will, according to all experience, barely manage during the course of the day to find the way back into the right track. Thus fortified, you descend as Adam and Eve from paradise, from the mountain peaks into the valleys. Now it goes joyfully into battle. It is impossible to remain forever even in the best spheres of the subtle world. Some sorrow, not wanting new tests, but others, like good warriors, aspire to new victories. You must execute your orders, defend your higher existence, further the growth of your soul, and struggle with opposing forces. The world forms a gigantic training ground for you to learn to reveal only the divine side of your nature. Only there, among other human beings, in the middle of the material world, you can test and confirm what you have learned in the temple. Only there, not in the protected refuge of the ashram, you acquire the abilities of a master. To accomplish your task, you have to leave heaven and descend down to earth. However, you return to the higher world in the evening, and you are acting on the lower level exclusively in the name and upon the orders of the hierarchy. Earthly life is a duel with chaos. A lone, courageous warrior dons his heavy armor and sets out in search of the dragon of chaos. The warrior has to leave the supermundane fortress to seek out the most hidden monsters in the most distant mountain passes. The more difficult the achievement, the more luminous will it be, and the more victorious the warrior on his return to the stronghold. Man should remember that his true stronghold is not on earth, and that all his earthly labors should be performed for return to the supermundane stronghold. May your mantram be joyfully off to battle, victorious back home. And now, an important practical exercise. When you are in the world, it is advisable, following the tradition of the liturgy of the hours, regularly, at best every hour, to control your thoughts, in order to make sure that you are preserving the higher consciousness of your supermundane existence. Not for a single hour should one extinguish within oneself this flame of lofty thinking. It is beautiful if someone can always carry within himself a lofty thought. You can briefly connect in spirit with the teacher and read a sentence of Agni Yoga from a piece of paper carried with you for this purpose. The affirmation of the teacher should be repeated each hour. You leave for a moment in spirit the low level of the world and visit your home, your heaven, the ashram of your teacher. The recourse to this holy place, to the solemn atmosphere prevailing there, is the best means to purify yourself, to rise again above the material conditions, and to overcome doubts, wavering, or depression. One of the most beautiful Buddhist mantras and the best weapon against temptations says, I take refuge with the teaching, with the teacher, and with the community. You should be asking yourself at this moment, do I behave as befits a worthy disciple and in a way that is a credit to my teacher? Do I have in mind that the teacher is watching me constantly? Do I execute conscientiously his orders and instructions? When returning to the ashram in the evening, will I still be able to look him into the face? Did I express within the last hour my divine or my animal nature? Am I still on the path, or did I deviate? Did I further approach the higher spheres, or did I move away from them? Every hour repeat to yourself, nothing will hinder my race to the teacher. I will not descend. We had already said in the previous broadcasting, as soon as you lose control of your thoughts, you threaten to sink down to a mere mortal